Fantastic. So I'll just give you guys a little bit of an update on the project that I'm working on. So I'm Erika. I'm the Senior Project Officer for the Local Government Homelessness Knowledge Hub, and I'm on secondment to Shelter WA from City of Joondalup until the end of June. So I go back to the local government sector after I wind up this project. I just want to start my presentation by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we meet. For me today, where I am, that's the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. And I want to pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging, and acknowledge that we're meeting today on this beautiful June day, which is my favorite season because we've got the sun shining, but it's just that little bit cooler. And as a Canadian, that works perfectly for me. So local government, as we know, is being called on to play an increasing role in ending and preventing homelessness. It's traditionally, it's been a state government responsibility, but with a new wave of homelessness and homelessness becoming more prevalent in the suburbs, communities are calling on local government to be able to do something to prevent and end homelessness in their local community. The All Paths Lead to a Home 10-year homelessness strategy even outlines a role for local government in supporting the plan to prevent and end homelessness. So today I'll talk a little bit about how this project supports local government in their role for preventing and ending homelessness in the local government sector. So the local government sector is really well positioned at facilitating local partnerships, doing advocacy work and coordinating place-based responses for homelessness in their community. A lot of local governments have a challenge in responding to homelessness because they don't have a clear strategy that can inform their response, and they don't have the resources to do direct service provision or the skill set. So they're often not able to respond to local to homelessness at a local level. So this project was given all of this and the need for local government to be involved in preventing and ending homelessness. Shelter WA applied for a grant from Lotterywest to run this program, and they were awarded it. So we're working in partnership with WELGA and the Local Government Professionals Association to build the Local Government Homelessness Knowledge Hub. The centerpiece of the project is the establishment of an online hub for local government. So they're able to share information to inform evidence-based practice in responding to homelessness within their community. Every community will look different because what might be the best practice in, say, Karratha would be very different to best practice in Fremantle. So we're really trying to nail that local response and what's good for every separate local government. The project's going to facilitate examples of best practice and enable better collaboration between local government from a policy and strategic response to homelessness. And the hub will provide information and resources to local government who are wanting to get more involved in ending and preventing. And so we'll go through how some of that can be achieved through this project. So with this project, when I started in November, we reached out to every local government in WA to introduce them to the project. And we undertook an audit, or I undertook an audit of the state to see what local government was doing in response to homelessness. The results of this audit, as well as evidence-based research and information from the project reference group and the partners, has helped inform the content that we'll be featuring on the hub. So some of the things that we found during our audit was the number of local governments have plans and strategies, policies, protocols, operational responses to homelessness, and we've collected a number of really great case studies across different functional areas of local government. So this audit was not just limited to homelessness specific responses. So for example, City of Joondalup and City of Fremantle and a number of other councils have homelessness plans or strategies, or rough sleeper plans or strategies. But there's a number of other local governments that are undertaking plans and strategies in affordable housing, planning, community safety, which aren't specific to homelessness, but the actions in those plans will address housing and homelessness. So some of the local government responses that are outlined in this state plan, as well as that we found local government are doing through our audit, are council policy positions. They're in a really good position to do coordination, so coordinating of local homelessness groups, advocacy, doing regional and local law reviews, rate exemptions for service providers, providing staff training and protocols for frontline staff, partnerships, providing funding, providing underutilized land for affordable social housing. And then there's a lot of really good stuff going on in the urban and town planning space in terms of increasing diverse housing supply and planning incentives to increase affordable and social housing supply. Local government has general competency powers, which means that they're able to do whatever they need to do to be a good government for their community. So local government is no longer mandated to only do roads, rates, and rubbish. If through their strategic planning, it is identified that homelessness is a key issue in their community, they have the discretion to respond to that appropriately. That's not always service provision, or is very rarely service provision, but is more around these strategic responses, or these coordination, advocacy, and funding responses. And the hub will provide examples and guidance to local government that are wanting to undertake these types of responses in their local community. So some of the things that we found through our audit, a number of local governments, I believe that there was, off the top of my head, we've collected 17 different plans and strategies. Some of them were specific to homelessness, and some of them were more of a town planning or affordable housing community safety responses. A great example is the Shire of Augusta Margaret River has an affordable housing strategy, and it makes a series of recommendations to encourage better utilization of land owned by the Department of Housing to increase the availability of social housing. So they're doing big advocacy work down there around that. Providing landowners with the opportunity to further develop single residential properties and dwellings. They're doing a lot of really good work around infill. They are utilizing land rezoning processes to establish agreements with private landowners and developers regarding the provision of affordable housing. They're incorporating affordable components into Shire land developments. And they're working with the WA Planning Commission and WELDA to support legislative changes that better enable mandatory provision for affordable housing. So these are the types of things that local government can be doing that aren't direct service provision or directly to do with homelessness, but certainly address the housing stress in their communities. And then there's places like the City of Perth that have a specific rough sleeper plan with 6 priority areas, including advocacy, coordination, improving connection of people who are sleeping rough to support services, improving the health and well-being of people who are sleeping rough, understanding rough sleeping trends in the City of Perth, and then improving the community's awareness of homelessness, particularly of rough sleeping. So that is a good example of a council that's doing something more directly related to homelessness. We've collected different policies and protocols. 7 local governments have provided examples of internal protocols or administrative protocols or operational practices for their staff, to guide their staff in responding to people who are homeless, or when they receive reports of people who are experiencing homelessness. We can't share those at this stage because they're internal policies, and we're still waiting on approvals from the local governments to share these. But majority of them take a compassionate person-first approach, and a lot of them even go, I don't want to say go against their local laws, but contradict their local laws. So for example, some of them might have a local law saying we move people on, but their protocol says that's the last resort. We don't move people on. We take all of these steps before we hit that resort. And that links back to the local law review that we're going to be, I guess, encouraging or educating councils on, to align their local laws with what they're actually doing in practice, so it's all embedded and consistent. The audit also produced a number of really great policies throughout the states, everything from affordable housing policies to short-term stay accommodation to homelessness-specific policies, which will all be available on the hub once it's launched in June. We also got so many fantastic examples of operational level responses to homelessness that local government are doing in the sector. A really quick snippet of them. I didn't have enough slides to show you guys everything that's going on, but we've got City of Joondalup in partnership with Wanneroo facilitating a homelessness interagency group. We've got planning incentives to increase social and affordable housing from City of Vincent. We've got partnerships with City of Fremantle for the Library Connect program, City of Mandurah funds NGO outreach services. The City of Swan provides in-kind support to not-for-profit services, so they're able to do service provision from council property. We've got, sorry, I've got two screens going on here. We've got regional and local homelessness strategies from places like the City of Stirling. City of Busselton is doing some great advocacy work to state government. City of Perth has put together a great service brochure that's used through most of the councils in the inner city. And lots of local councils, including Town of Cambridge, are doing rates exemptions for not-for-profit and charity organizations, which essentially frees up more money for their operations and their service provision. So the hub, along with all of these resources, will feature current stats and trends. We're going to be writing guiding documents to help local government in their journey of writing homelessness specific protocols and policies. We're going to have educational pages around advocacy, what's being done in the advocacy space and what can be done, as well as educational pages around local law reform and review. There's going to be links to resources, news and funding. And then there's going to be information on relevant training, as well as a training package on the hub, which is still to be determined. So that's the local government hub in a nutshell. I see there's some questions on the chat. Oh, is there any questions?